it should be different every year. We shouldn't, I think when we get stuck with, no, every summer we have to do this, it's non-negotiable. Well, those are the trips that I think tend to feel stagnant or just less than over time, because we're trying to recapture something or we're doing it out of duty or obligation. And so really the offer on the table and what we're all trying to do is, God, what do you have for us this summer, for us, our hearts, but also for our families? And then are we willing to step into that new thing with God for joy?
And are we open enough for him to say no? Are we open enough for him to redirect plans? So it is the week of May 12th, and this is our annual We Want to Help You Make Good Decisions podcast, particularly around family, summer, Sabbath, rest, decision-making, in-laws, obligations, that sort of thing. You might recognize Jamie on our team. Welcome back, Jamie.
Thank you.
And Conrad, welcome to the podcast here again.
Yeah, good to be here.
Yeah, good to have you guys. And our newest team member, Alan.
First week on the job.
He's going through orientation this week. But as we were getting into this, I was thinking about that Moab story from last year.
Yep.
The tent, the disaster. Take us into the epicenter of that story.
The glorious disaster.
Yeah.
So it was spring break, actually. So it wasn't summer, but we had in our hearts, we wanted summer break. And so we researched some places, and we're still fairly new to Colorado and this part of the country. And in our minds, we're like, desert in March, that'll be kind of hot.
Right.
Like, that'll be great to swim. And it'll be great weather. And so that's what me and Samantha were coming in thinking. So we got a sweet campsite, tent camping, right on the edge of this really pretty lake. And we're juiced because our kids throw on the swimsuits, splash around. That was our vision. Well, we got there, and late in the evening, we ran into some rain, and the rain turned into snow. And for the first 4 hours of this storm, the tent was like doing well, and we were sleeping. Me and Samantha were awake, but the kids were fine and everything was going well. But when it turned to snow, it added some weight to the rain cover, and there was some limit that our rain cover hit, and it started drip, drip, drip. And at one point, our son wakes up and just looks at us and goes, "I'm wet."
Oh.
We're like, yeah, we're all wet, buddy. And so that was the first piece. We had another kid have to wake up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. So we had to hike down with her to the outhouse, hike back. Our other child had thrown up in the tent. She was sick. It went from bad to worse and worse to disaster in the matter of like 3 hours.
Oh, gosh.
No one slept. We woke up the next day, and it's like that moment that you look at your wife and you're like, do we cut our losses now and say that this was a failure, or do we like try to like dry the sleeping bags out? And so it was a mess, and we had to leave and pack up. Yep. It was a swing and a miss. And so we had to leave and drive back the very next day. We weren't even camp. We were on the road longer than we got to camp.
Right.
Not a very fun scenario.
So this is why we do this podcast annually. All right, we're going to come back to this in a minute, but let's take our pause, because I don't want to forget to do that. We need it every week, wherever you are, whatever your situation. Let's just take a moment, breathe, catch your breath, let it go. Let's pause together. Yeah, just tune in. What is the condition of your soul right now? And what is it that you need to let go of, including maybe your reach for control, so that you can just come back into the rest of God? And that's why we pray, Father, Jesus, Holy Spirit, I give everyone and everything to you. Just take a moment, friends. Get specific. And I'm releasing all this to you, God, in order to get out of the drama or the worry or the hurt, and to just get back into you, back into your love, back into our union, and into communion with you. I know you have some things for me this week in this podcast. Give me eyes to see and ears to hear what you're saying to me about my life as I listen to the team. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, so family time away is precious, or friends, or a church thing, or whatever. People are in different stages of life, and kids know kids, but any kind of joy, restoration, Sabbath is a precious thing, and that's why we do this podcast annually, to help people think about that and get God into the process of that. But before we do, I just want them to understand the different life stages at the table. So you've got...
Yeah, we have 3 kids. And so we have 9 and 7-year-old daughters and a 5-year-old boy.
Yeah.
So pretty young still. We're out of the diaper phase, but we're in the young years of elementary school. And so it presents its challenges.
How much energy would you describe your 5-year-old having?
Just I need to borrow some of it. That's how much. Like he's got not too much, but he has a lot.
He's on go.
Yes, he's on go all the time.
Yeah. And then daughters at a beautiful stage of life.
Yes.
There's some emotions that sometimes need to be
tended to, and sometimes some people need more love on different mornings than others. And so all those things contribute.
So young family, that stage of life. Whereas Alan, you guys are
empty nesters
now.
And our youngest just this week leaves the teen phase, so he turns 20. Mm-hmm. And so we now officially no longer have teenagers. Yeah. And we have 3 children, 2 boys and a girl, and they're all now from 20 to 24. So kind of the young 20s, young adults. And no longer is it, this is what we're going to do, but it's, asking them, what do you think? And being there when they're ready. And a whole different type of relationship, right? Than when they're at home as young kids. Yeah,
it is. And are we going to see you this year and all that?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then Jamie, your kids are a little bit older than Conrad's.
Yes, I've got 2 kids. My daughter is 17 and my son just turned 13.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you're in the throes of the middle school, high school years and driving and all that.
Driving.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's important for people to understand because different stages of life have different needs.
Yeah. And how about you?
We are in the Mia and Poppy stage, which actually, I'm going to explain our wall calendar in a minute. We had to go to a wall calendar because it was a couple months ago. Stace and I were in the kitchen, and I said, "Sweetheart, I don't get it. We plan well. We budget our time. There's action and activity and service, and then there's rest and Sabbath and play, and we really budget that well. Where did all our margin go? Where did the margin go?" And she looks at me and she goes, 8 grandchildren. I mean, that's 8 birthdays.
Yeah.
That's 8 ballet recitals or soccer games or carpool. And it was like, oh yeah, that doesn't get on the calendar, so to speak.
Yes.
You can't look at it and go, oh yeah, we're budgeting for that, but it's a beautiful stage of life. Mm-hmm. And we've got some plans for this summer that I'm looking forward to talking to you about. But the idea of this podcast, the reason that we do this annually is soul care, rest, Sabbath, play, joy are really high values in our culture. Like we see them as deeply spiritual and needed, and sustenance and renewal and all of that. So we plan for it as a team, and we provide breathing room for everybody to get that. And yet, even still, when it's a priority and top of mind and something that we value, we know its effect on the soul. Is it easy? What are the challenges in just getting away these days?
Go for it, Jamie.
Yeah. No, it's hard. It's hard to make space. it's easier to stay home. And I don't think any of us are saying that everybody should get away, but summer seems to be offer the most opportunity for that for families.
Yeah.
But yeah, leaving the comforts of your home and adventuring, traveling, it takes a lot of forethought. It takes a lot of planning.
It does.
It takes a lot of mental energy.
Yep.
And most of the time, barring the camping trip
Yes.
of destruction,
Yes.
it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Shows, if nothing else, shows the kids a broader part of the world.
Yeah. I just realized I need to apologize to our friends in the Southern Hemisphere, because this is a very summer-oriented podcast here in the Northern Hemisphere, and you guys are headed into winter. But the questions stand, right? The lessons stand of, did you get what you needed over last summer? What does soul care look like as you head into a busier season of year? So stay with us. Stay with us. I know summer feels like it's over, but the lessons are the same, right? As you navigate life with God and life with others with God.
Yes.
So what are the challenges?
Yeah, I mean, just to answer the question of like, is it easy? It's just, no, it's so hard. It feels impossible. I can remember there was a season of life where me and Samantha were both school teachers, and even to take a day off of work for school teaching is like, it's actually more work because you have to write the plans.
Yes.
You have to give basically the playbook to someone else to run the ship for a day or 2 days. And like, we looked at each other and we're like, we don't do sub plans anymore, but vacation plans feel like sub plans, right? Of like, we have to coordinate food and rest and travel and money and time and all those pieces. And by the time you get to the campsite, whether it turns out to be destruction or redemption, it's just like, wow, like, it was costly is what I'm naming.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not easy at all.
You know what? And because we were on Moab for a minute, so Moab is a desert community in Utah, and it's got gorgeous, gorgeous landscape and scenery.
Pretty.
And if you're into rock climbing or mountain biking or ATVing or that sort of thing, like it's a pretty fun place to go. So Stacy's mother, many years ago now, Stacy's mother was dying. She was in her final stages of cancer. And Stace had been, back and forth, but she needed to go. And this was, I'm gonna stay until Mom is in the arms of God. So I've got the 3 boys at the house, and I'm like, wow, God, what do we? And it was spring break, and I'm like, Papa, what do we do? And he said, you should go to Moab. Now I've never been. I've never even heard of it. And I'm like, really? And I stop in, I have to confess, I swing into Starbucks now and then. I'm at the counter in Starbucks, and I'm just chatting with the barista and asking her about her day. And she's like, oh my gosh, I'm doing so great. I just got back from Moab, And I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm listening. And it was a very counterintuitive thing. Here you have part of the family that's, in loss and grief, but I've got 3 boys that still need tending to, and a lot of energy, right? You take times 3. And so we went because God was guiding us into it. And it actually ended up being this really sweet, redemptive time out there. So that's part of the lessons of navigating with God, stages of life, but he's still in there helping us figure things out. Because you got a son who's a rock climber, but your daughter's not a rock climber, right?
Yep.
And you guys went to New York.
Yes. We went to New York City over spring break recently, which was my husband's idea, and he's kind of the master vacation planner. So
every family needs one.
Every family needs one, and I'm so glad, because it wouldn't happen if it was me. Like, I don't know where to stay, what to do. He planned this trip, and I will admit to being skeptical about it. Not that I didn't want to go, but like, are you kidding me? Like, particularly for my son, who doesn't care for traveling. He'd much rather be home. And he is not a big city boy. His idea of traveling would be going an hour down the road to climb.
To climb.
And so it was a big ask, I think, for my son in particular. But God was in it, and he actually had a great time. And I was able to kind of see some things in him rise up of like, I can navigate the subway system in New York City. And there was one day where we were planning on going to yet another museum in the city. And my son had really been doing well and like, rallying for the stuff that we were doing until that morning. And then he kind of turned into like an old school cartoon character that goes boneless and like melts off of furniture. Like, and thankfully he's of an age and a responsibility level that when he said, I just can't, we were able to leave him in our high-rise rental for that morning and know that he would be okay.
Yeah.
And even that was good for him to be like, I've been doing good, but I cannot today.
Wow,
so
good for him.
The three of us went out, and my daughter, I think now wants to move to New York City after that trip. And my son definitely doesn't, but he got to try 3 new climbing gyms in that neck of the woods.
Oh,
so we were able to balance some.
Okay, that's really sweet. You actually took him to some climbing?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We brought shoes, we brought harnesses. So he was able to experience some gyms in that area.
That's great.
Yeah. But it was a balancing act.
It is, right?
Yeah. Yes, for
and
sure.
A daughter who's 18, 17. Is very, very different than an adolescent boy.
Yes.
Yeah. Desires and pace and timing and all that.
Like you guys went to how many plays while you were there?
We went to 3 musicals.
3 musicals.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Alan, what about you guys? Like, what are you thinking of towards this year? What are the challenges? How are you getting God into that?
Yeah. Well, the challenges are, this is a stage where 2 of our children are in college now, and they come home. The younger 2 will come home and spend the summer with us in between semesters. But when they come home, it's their heavy season to work and make money for the next semester because they can only do so much when they're in college, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't really want to head out on vacation because they want to make money. Yeah. And so we've learned our summers for this season, which is only a couple of years, is mostly staycations around the house because they're busy during the day or night at their jobs. They have 2 jobs each. So for Kelly and I, it's been a real readjustment to, okay, this is not the time we're going to head to the ocean or spend 2 weeks somewhere. We just can't with them if we want to do it with them. So yeah, it's a time this summer. We don't have all the plans, but we've already set some time for some concerts. Some really fun bands we're going to see that are an hour and a half away, but we can be back by that night. There's a play we're going to see, the Screw Tape Letters. A guy kind of does the C.S. Lewis thing and takes people through that, and that's going to be here. So we're trying to find outings that are 30 minutes, an hour away, an evening together somewhere, because that's what will bring joy to our kids and that we can do together with them instead of saying, no, we really all need to go here. And even if they went, they'd be thinking, I really need to be making money. So it's knowing the season. We have 2 puppies that just turned a year, brother, sister, sheepadoodles, look like, well, they're like 100-pound sheepdogs. I mean, they're
holy smokes.
They're big pups. And so we have them around our home and they're still in training and learning, and the male dog has decided to eat our house. And so we come home and the baseboard is no longer there. We're like, where did the baseboard go? And I'm like, well, at least he's not eating the wall. And the next time we came home and he had eaten a chunk out of the wall. And so you wouldn't think that would be tasty, but yeah, we're in the teenage years with the dogs. And so it's fun. It's crazy. The kids love them. We love them. And yeah, it's just a new season and embracing that with God. God, what do you have for us in this particular summer adventure, which won't look at all like it did 2, 3, 4 years ago?
Yeah, that's good. So what are you guys going to do?
Yes. So the Moab story, the temptation is like, screw that. We're staying home the rest of our lives. Right. But actually what God was up to and showing us, revealing to me and Samantha is, for every Moab story we've had where it's just been us and our crew, we've had a redemptive story of camping with another family with like aged kids.
Oh, nice.
And we realized like, oh man, like that's been the win. That's been the playbook. And so we're going to do that again. We're camping with some people that we love with kids, our kids' age, and our kids get along and they play and they go explore and they tinker.
Nice.
And we're trying out the sand dunes.
Okay.
Towards the beginning of June. And so that's our first time. So if it's a disaster, we'll at least have another family with us to enjoy the disaster.
Right?
But if not, it will be beautiful. And we've camped with this family before. And it's just, there's, when you're in our season, it's trying to find the balance and do the balancing act of where do the kids win and how do me and Samantha maybe not get to, lavishly sleep in till 10 a.m. and have Sabbath, but where do we get me and her time to connect and where do we get adult time? And that seems to be when our kids are playing together and we can sit around a fire and actually talk about the heart and talk about what God's doing and talk about where we're doing well and where we're challenged. So that's the win for us. And that's what we're pointing our ship towards.
What does that look like as you and Samantha are making that decision?
Yeah.
Describe the...
Yeah. So it's funny, John, you asked to do this podcast and I was like, man, I'm excited. And I know what the question after what your summer plans are will be. Did you ask Jesus? And I have to just confess, like, we don't. And I don't. And I talk to Jesus about a lot of things.
Yes.
We have a lot of things that me and him are back and forth on. But I realized last night thinking about this, praying into it this morning, like it's revealing in me, like I actually don't think he's that interested in my joy or my rest. Fairly problematic because what I've heard about God, what I've read, but Dallas Willard says he's the most joyful being in the universe. I'm like, right, I'm missing something essential there. So for me, it's confession of me and Samantha are pretty, we're both firstborns. We're both fairly strong-willed, independent, kind of get it done people. So we can kind of like power couple through some like scheduling, like our summer's planned. And I haven't asked Jesus. And what's interesting is the sense that I get from him just in the last even 12 hours thinking about like, well, why haven't you asked me, buddy?
Yes.
It's like him wanting to ask me, well, Conrad, like, what are you going to do for you? Like how is Conrad going to have fun? Not like be super dad and do the sand dunes thing and not any other expression, but like, where is Conrad going to have fun? And I'm like, that's a disruptive question for me because I need fun and I do not have enough of it. Right. So that's my response.
Okay. Good confession. Confession is good for the soul.
Heals, right?
I absolve you of your sins.
I love the honesty, Conrad, too. Thank you for, just sharing that.
Yeah.
So for 19 years, raising sons, we went to the Tetons in Wyoming every summer as a family. Yeah. And it just became so steeped in tradition. You know where the best ice cream is. You know where the best jumping rock is into the lakes. You know where the wildlife hangs out. You want to see moose? You know how to find those. You want to see, and then the boys go off to college, they marry, start having families, and you have to let that go, right? You can't insist on that anymore, or then it starts becoming contrived. It's no longer like an organic joy, but something you're trying to recreate or hang on to. So we really let it go. But having prayed about it and prayed about it as a family, invited the adult kids into that, we are going back. We're going back to the Tetons with the entire clan.
Oh, nice.
So 8 grandchildren.
Oh, goodness.
What's the age span there?
Yeah, right. So you've got 8 to, barely a year.
Yeah.
Yes. And there's a couple baby stage-ish, and and then 3 really littles, very littles, and then up to the 2 cousins who are 8, who are just thick as thieves, which is so sweet.
Aw.
The 2 oldest girls. I have a whitewater raft that we use for adventure and that sort of thing, but you can take off most of the framing, and it's just a big, safe boat to be in for the little ones. They have so much joy in it to just get in and go down the river. So yeah, really looking forward to that. And we've been through the first phase, which is this what you're in, God? Are you in this? When should we go? I don't want to make assumptions about that. He's rescued us from so many bad plans over the years. Oh my gosh. Now we're into the phase of then praying over it and protecting the trip, praying over the joy, praying over obviously health, life, safety. Stacy gets really stressed around potential injury scenarios. So raising 3 boys, I mean, because like they would be on the raft and they would be tackling each other into the river, and that stuff just puts Stacy over the edge. So praying into that, praying into protecting joy, protecting against stress, against drama, right? You don't want family drama. So yeah, now we're in the phase of protecting it. Yeah. What about you guys? You went to New York. What are you going to do? Do you have summer plans?
Yeah, I have a couple plans. One is kind of a cool story of something that was offered to me a couple years ago that I would have loved to have jumped on at that point. But as a family, we were kind of thrown into a crazy medical diagnosis for my son. And long story short, it was not the time.
Yes.
We had to get our feet back underneath us and figure out day-to-day life with him. So at that point, it was a no. But the summer was offered to me again. And God was like, yep, that's the time. Like, I guess I should tell you what it is.
You better.
So my daughter is a theater kid, and she's involved in a couple different theater groups, one of which puts on a summer show. And I've always been involved in costuming for those groups. I do some, and generally am just a creative person, and I love helping with that. So 2 years ago, I was offered hey, we need a costume director for the upcoming season. And that's when I was like, I would love to, but I can't right now. Still stayed involved in costumes, still in the like supportive helping capacity. But this summer, again, they came to me and said, we need someone to lead costumes for the show. And I was like, it was such a gift from God to say, it was a bummer and a no last time, but I've brought it back around. Here you go.
Wow.
So got my hands full with that for a few months.
Okay.
Till the end of July, costuming Fiddler on the Roof.
You are you are a saint. You are a saint. Wow.
So
okay.
That it's a big job, yes, but it also it's filled with joy.
Yeah.
I'm super excited to take that on. And like I said earlier, my daughter's 17. She'll be moving into her senior year this fall. And so that window of having her in our home is shortening for sure. So I love it from Jesus. It feels like a gift to have an even bigger investment in her and her story right now. And so that's exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Once the show is over, we have a family trip to Yosemite and Sequoia the first week of August.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
Yeah.
And is the Uber vacation planner planning that one too?
He already did. So kind of like Conrad admitted, the plans have been made. And now I feel like, great, let's pray into them.
Right? Yes.
Let's dive in.
Yes.
Slightly after the fact, but
yes.
So adventure, beauty, but also aware that this vacation will probably be more exciting for my son
Yeah.
Then for my daughter, who's less outdoors and exceptionally connected to her friends and phone, and so there's going to be some give and take in there.
Yeah. So she got New York, he gets Yosemite. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good job, Mom and Dad.
What I love about what we're hearing around the table, though, is it's not just a repeat every summer. Like every summer for you and your kids, what you're getting to do this year, like our summer with older kids who are now in their young 20s, like it should be different every year. We shouldn't, I think when we get stuck with, no, every summer we have to do this. It's non-negotiable. Well, those are the trips that I think tend to feel stagnant or just less than over time, because we're trying to recapture something, or we're doing it out of duty or obligation. And so really the offer on the table and what we're all trying to do is, God, what do you have for us this summer, for us, our hearts, but also for our families? And then are we willing to step into that new thing with God for joy?
And are we open enough for him to say no? Are we open enough for him to redirect plans?
Yeah.
Right. That for us was a big growth step. Like, I love hearing yes. I have a harder time hearing no, especially when it's something your heart's really, really, really set on, and to allow God, as people are thinking about it, going, because this is a little late. It's May 12th,
Right.
It's the week of May 12th. And people are like, oh, no, you don't understand. The concrete is poured. Right. Either yes or no. Like, we're not doing anything, or we've got these plans and we have to go see my folks. You just don't understand, But even still, like, just the humility and the openness to say, God, can we double check with you on this? Or are you in this? Like, we have a green light from you on these plans, or is there anything you want to mitigate in these plans? So Luke and Liv have the youngest baby in the family, and they're like, Mom and Dad, we cannot do a 10-hour car drive. He's going to scream the whole time, right? You remember those days. And they're like, we need to fly. Do you guys have any, miles or points that you could help us, fly there and then pick us up? We're like, yep, we can be flexible. I can adjust to, So listening, asking God, what are the adjustments about the plans that we have? Anything you want to say to us about that? Yeah. He might have something for you and Kelly quite apart from the kids.
Right. That we don't even know about yet. Or will we hold that loosely of the not knowing as we pursue it with God until June, July? Like, it doesn't, we don't have to know it in May to know that God has something more. Yeah. So that's, to me, the beauty and the mystery of walking into summer with God is, I'm excited for what we know, and what we don't know, I'm expectant for whatever that looks like. Yes. And we'll give you our yes, and we'll also say okay if it's a no.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So back to our wall calendar. So I have to have it visual, and I do have everything on my phone. It's not as helpful when you can get one of those big wall calendars that lives on the inside door of the pantry. So, and I color code everything. Thank you, Craig McConnell. Craig would color code everything. He is so proud of me right now. I've been a good disciple. Because you really kind of need to see, so green is joy, green is flourishing, green, so vacations are green, and, holidays and birthdays and stuff like that. And then mission is orange, you're going overseas to do this, you're speaking at this, you've got a book due, whatever these things are, that's up there in orange. So you can begin to kind of map out the year. And here was one of the epiphanies. I'm looking at all this green in the summer. I'm like, babe, do you understand most of that is guests? That's hosting. That hosting is not the same thing as Sabbath, sweetheart. Like, I know we love hosting, and it's lovely to have family and friends and people come, but I'm like, honey, that's not the same as Sabbath. And so as we're trying to think about where is genuine Sabbath in our thing. I had to get up there with some new color coding. It's still green because it's lovely, kind of thing. But I now have a band of pink over it just to help us visually go, oh, holy cow, we're hosting a lot this summer.
Yeah.
And into the fall. Like, okay, so where's the Sabbath again? Where's it? Because I see the orange and I see the pink. Like, where's and then even things in there that is just Stacy and me, which is blue. And where's that? And where are we going to get that time? That's been very helpful for us to lay that out. And then again, to look at it with God and go, Jesus, what do you think? Mm-hmm. Is there anything you want to say to us? And literally what he said was, it was no like alarm or that's a bad decision or anything like that. He just said, nothing more. Add nothing more. Yeah. Like you're loving, you're doing well. You're also maxed out. Don't put anything else on the calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And guys, I just feel compelled to say if for the listeners there who are hearing this, and we all have kids and some have grandkids at different stages, but some listeners aren't married or are divorced or, they're older and their spouse is no longer here. We see you too. And what we want to invite you into is what could be a form of joy for you this summer, even though it's not a full calendar with, there are no kids coming in or that you don't have young kids or you're not married, you're alone. You're not alone in the sense though, that you're a son or daughter of God and he has something for your heart this summer. So while we don't know what that looks like and they may not know yet, there is joy for you this summer, and to enter into that with God and say, I can't identify with some of these stories, but I know there's something this summer for me, God. Will you show me?
Wow. That's beautiful. We just wanted to come on the show here in the week of May 12th and just get people thinking about this. Is there anything else you would say? You go, big family lesson we've learned is...
Yeah, I actually have one coming to mind, kind of in the spirit of Jesus. Anything else you want to say about it? He's shown us in recent years lessons we've been learning is it's not so much the what we're doing, but it's the how we're doing it. Practical example is we go home for Christmas. We are from Missouri, 9.5 hours away. We drive home. Typically it was, hey, you're going to stay the night at these sets of parents' house and then these sets of parents' house. And we're just with people the whole time. And it wasn't a pace for us. And what we've learned is just a simple thing is we're still going to Missouri, but we're actually grabbing an Airbnb for our family for 2 nights of the 6 instead of 6 nights with family in the same home. That's just a small example of sometimes Jesus will just cut down the time or some small aspect that really actually lets everyone flourish. So small, but powerful little shift there.
Really good. Yeah.
Our family does that as well. Yeah. You would love to be with the family, but you need a little space to retreat and collect. We've talked a ton about vacations, but I would say like for our family, yes, we have a vacation in August and a big project in between, but most of our summer is just playing spike ball in the backyard and taking the dog on walks and kids are out of school. So, hey, let's go grab lunch together, just like little investments here and there.
Thank you.
Beautiful Colorado weather. I know not all of our listeners are in Colorado, of course, but like this is the golden time where we live to experience beauty, warmth, sunshine. So
thank you.
The majority of our summer is still living life as normal, but with a few extra things thrown in.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, I would echo that and say, for me, and the invitation I think is, how do I stay fully present? Like summer isn't going to be based on a trip. So when I go into the evenings after work, like the best part of the day will be Kelly and I sitting on the deck with the stars outside and a 30, 45-minute conversation, leisurely conversation. And I need to be fully present in that rather than letting my mind race to what's next. So summer is always a good reminder of me to throttle back and really enjoy the conversations and the people around me in the simplest situations.
Yeah, that's really good.
How about you?
Yeah. Get on the deck. Like that, to the simple dailies. I so look forward to our evenings, late evening on the deck, Stace and I just enjoying the warmth, the beauty. Solar lanterns, solar charged lanterns. We've got these beautiful lanterns that hang there. And so the dink, dink, to have those come on as it gets dark. And are you kidding? Like, I just love that. Yeah, we don't need to go places to experience joy and Sabbath. Yeah, love it.
It's good.
Okay, everybody, this is our annual love gift to you. I'm saying, think about it, pray about it, whatever stage you're in. If the die is cast, ask God. We can't afford that. Ask God, or as Alan was saying, different stages of relationship. And but you understand, right now I don't have anyone to travel with. Well, see what Papa has for you. Right, you're still on His radar. So this is what we do every year, is get people thinking about it. Thanks for coming in and helping them do that.
Hey friends, this is Alan. Thanks for being part of this week's podcast. And before you rush off into what's next, we invite you to spend some time reflecting with God on what you've heard and on where He's leading you.